Alright, what is up guys? It is Cam Lazzy with here today. I got asked a question earlier today about what is when you have a DSLR or any type of expensive camera and you're in movie mode, what does the frame rate or the exposure time for each frame really change how many frames per second I'm getting in video? And I looked at him and I said, well, no, not really, because what exposure time each frame has. Let's say we're filming at 60 frames per second, which is what we are doing right now. Since we're filming at 60 frames per second, you're actually viewing this at 1/60th of a second shutter speed. So that means that each frame is getting 1/60th of a second of exposure time. Now, that's why on most common DSLRs, you see that the frame rate is either listed as 29.97 frames per second or 59.9 something frames per second. That is because if you are let's say you're trying to film at 60 frames per second and you're filming at 1/60th of a second shutter speed. There has to be a time in between each frame where the sensor kind of clears out the data that's on it to prepare for the new data that's coming in. So right now I'm actually going to show you a demo. This is filming at 1/60th of a frame per second at ISO 800 at f3.5, and I'm actually just going to do like a slide by fairly fast where you can actually get an idea of what this looks like in real time. So we're going to basically the point of today's video is we're going to be testing motion blur at different frame rates. So like I said, this is at 1/60th of a second, f3.5 and ISO 800, so let's go. Alright, so now here is filming at 1/125th of a second. I'm going to bump the ISO one stop up to where we still get a decent amount of light. And now we're going to test it now. Now we're going to bump the frame rate up to 1/250th of a second at ISO 3200. So here we go. So now we're going to kick it up to 1/500th of a frame. So now we're going to kick it up to 1/500th of a second exposure time. Now we are up to ISO 6400 because we are in a darker room here and I don't have my video lights today. So here we go. So now I'm filming at 1/1000th of a second, so each frame gets 1/1000th of a second of exposure time. Now we are filming at ISO 12800 because we still need adequate light. Now do note we started at ISO 800, which looks like this. So we are now up 1, 2, 3, we're up 4 stops of light on the ISO. So now we are going to bump it up. Let's see. Yeah, we're going to do 1/1000th of a frame per second, and let's go. So now we are going to take it up as fast as this camera can go. So this is 1/4000th of a second. Now this is the Nikon D3300 in case I did not tell you that. We are still filming at f-stop 3.5, and we are now at 25,600 ISO, which is also the highest ISO that this camera can go. So we are basically at the fastest frame rate possible here, so let's go.